This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to WCFL DolFans Talk. I hope everyone's having a wonderful morning this Memorial Day weekend. You know, it is what it is. We're all happy to be here, alive and well. But right now, I'm going to bring on my co-host, Mr. Dolphin Winters.
Good morning, everybody. Papa Paul, good morning to you, brother. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm above ground and upright, and that's all that matters.
That's a blessing, brother. That's a blessing.
Yes. Right now, I just want to give a quick 10 seconds of silence for all our veterans out there who gave all. Okay, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day. We're going to jump right into it. Just talk football, talk Miami Dolphins football, and what y'all are feeling out there. You know, leave us some comments, hit the like, subscribe on YouTube, join in if you want. The link's already up there if you want to join in with us.
Yeah, today is a lazy holiday Sunday, and we don't expect a lot of people to be up right now. But if you're up and want to discuss football, and it doesn't just have to be Miami Dolphin football, it could be football in general. You can sit there and bring whatever's on your mind as well. And I mean, Paul, like, that's how we can expand, brother. Like, you know, we are a Miami Dolphins podcast, but it's good to know about other teams and other concerns from other teams. And
most definitely, we want to have other teams on our show, especially when we're playing them that year. So like this year, we have the Raiders, we have the 49ers. We have the Cardinals. Hold on. You go ahead.
Yeah, we have the Rams, the 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, the Cleveland Browns. We've had Bill fans on here. We would like to get some New England fans on here. Jets fans. We played the Tampa Bay Bucks in the preseason. We also played the Falcons in preseason, and I think the Washington Redskins. We played the Seahawks this season. So all these fan bases that we're naming, we would love to have you guys on the show, talk about how long you've been a fan for, you know, what was your best experience as a fan of the team that you rep, what was the worst experience of the team that you rep, and what are your concerns, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we are not like all the other podcasts out there. And we definitely sit there and shout out to all content creators that do the work and put the time in and stuff. But we are a very laid back and very, very chill podcast that you can come on and actually talk, and, you know, all that insults and all that. We don't have that here. We keep it 100 with each other. We keep it real. We agree to disagree, but we do it respectfully. So that's the main thing.
100%. You know, I was just seeing a thing. I was trying to watch a little video a few minutes ago of, you know, Miami Dolphins and what they have done this offseason. They're saying is a lot. They're saying it's going to be hard for teams to touch us. Well, my personal feelings, I can't give that opinion yet. I like what they've done, but as our great John O'Hanlon says, we got to wait and see.
Absolutely. I fully agree with you, brother. I like the moves that we have made, and we're going to continue to make some more moves. But the thing is, we have to see it in action. We have to see it with our own eyes, and we have to sit there and feel a little confident about it. You know, going into year 3 of McDaniel's tenure here in the Miami Dolphins, he's experiencing the third defensive coordinator that, you know, he's had to deal with. In his coaching tenure here in Miami. So with that being said, how is the chemistry going to work with the new defensive coordinators and the new defensive coaches on that team? How are things going to look on the offensive line? We lost a lot of people on the offensive line this year. And how is our offensive line going to be able to be where Coach Barry, what will Coach Barry do with the new lineup for the offensive line? Those things are 2 key opponents that I am definitely looking forward to.
Yes. Shout out to Santiago. Good morning, Santiago.
What's
Hope you're having a wonderful weekend.
Shout out to Santiago and the Jersey Boys
podcast.
It's definitely the Jersey Boys podcast. They're good guys. We've been on it a few times.
They talk about football all the way around. They are Giants fans, but they talk about whoever, you know, they have special guests if you're Miami Dolphins fans, but they also go hit and miss with the Raiders, who's done what and everything. So they're a great show. But today, I'm more worried about the defense because we lost a lot more on defense than offense. But the news is that the players are liking Coach Weaver.
Right.
So that's a good plus right there because you're gelling already as far as coaches and players.
My whole thing is with that, not to cut you off, my whole thing with that is, you know, I don't want them to be liking them now, and then the season comes and something happens, they start not to like them. So, you know, hopefully they keep that same energy up all through the season.
I agree with you, and I understand on that. But it's a beginning. It's a start. You know, this is, of course, our defense. All the players that we did retain on defense, this is their third defensive coordinator in 3 years.
Right.
So they got to try and learn a whole new defensive system without being confused on the old ones and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a lot to go with. But yeah, we just got to wait and see. You know,
in this day and age right now, everything is still a work in progress. And, you know, we do have some fans and on all fan bases, we have this sitting there and acting like the sky is falling. Because a quarterback goes to a charity golf tournament and 9 other players decide not to show the OTAs, it does not mean a thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, these gentlemen are human beings. They have families and they are allowed to enjoy and have fun as well. There are no robots in the NFL. The only robots in the NFL that I know of have cameras on them, and they sit there and they determine the first downs and stuff like that, which we've been asking for eons, first down markers and sensory right there, which they still can't get that right, but that's a whole nother subject. But
yeah.
With that being said, these are human beings, ladies and gentlemen. They're allowed to have downtime. This is the summer. I am not wigging out at the end of May about my team. It's just concerns and thoughts. As training camp comes and things like that, then that's when you start getting amped up, and that's when you start getting ramped up. And that's when I think, as a fan, that's when you start getting really excited because you think, as of the end of July, August is the first preseason game. If I'm correct, the Hall of Fame game is usually the first week in August, correct?
Yes, most definitely.
So,
yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. And then we got to remember we have joint practices all 3 preseason games this year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting to see also. I mean,
Washington didn't forget about what we did to them in their home. So we already know that, even though it's a preseason game, they're still having memories of what we did. And if I'm correct, we'll probably get maybe a series or two or of the offense, probably of that game. Probably the first and the third game, you might not even see two on the field at all.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on that. You might not see anybody, of any of the first stringers really, hardly at all.
Right.
At least not the first game.
Right.
Or you might see one series on the first game and one series on the second game, then never see him at all on the third game. Because usually the third game, they're looking at who is actually they want to keep and who they're going to leave from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then that's another question that we can bring up right now. If the rumors are true, which the league is trying to trying to eliminate one preseason game and go to two preseason games and 18 full games, how much of an effect that's going to be on picking your 53 to 55 man roster. That's going to be an interesting concept because 2 games is not a lot. It really isn't.
No, it's not. It's going to come down to more what they see in the practices, I think, than the games. And the 2 games, unless there's a previous year starter that's sort of just was dropping off at the end of the year, all your starters aren't even going to play in the 2 preseason games probably at all.
Right.
And then they're just going to be looking for backups, good backups or potential growth in a position for, someone to fill in for someone who is dropping off.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do. It's going to be interesting to see with future expansion of the NFL, how they're going to play that out. Because I know for a fact that they're trying to go down to Australia, if I'm correct. They're actually talking about trying to get a game out in Australia. It's beautiful that the game of football is getting to be spectated all over the globe, which it should be, because it's definitely a game that is very popular here in the States. And with their ideas of maybe trying to have teams in London and stuff like that, I don't know how the analytics would work with all that, but it would be interesting. And hopefully we can get teams from overseas to play here in the United States and stuff like that. Good morning, Shake. What's going on with your brother?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Oh, man.
Good.
What is it? Another day and another lovely day in Zamunda, like you always say.
It's a beautiful day.
That's right. So what you got going on this weekend, Shake?
Just house chores.
House shorts. I love it.
House chores. Chores. I'm doing chores.
Oh, I thought you said house shorts. I thought you were just walking around in your boxers.
No, that's overdressed for me. No, just
Okay. You went too far. I went too far. That's enough.
Oh man, how did the show go last night?
You still there, Shake? He must be doing something.
Yeah, no. It went okay. I wasn't part of it, but yeah, the grumpy guy. That's funny.
I tuned in. I was watching. I was cracking up, man. It was funny. I was laughing when it was talking about the trash trucks. I was sitting there cracking up. I'm like, oh my god. So
okay. Real quick, we're gonna play about a minute of this video here. The Fins hit the field. So go ahead and talk a little bit. Let me get it set up, and we'll play the Fins hit the field.
Definitely. So
Grumpy, when Grumpy Dolphin fan, we do Twitter Spaces, right? And he is a must listen to when him and Pete are on the same time.
Oh, I could have only
I can
imagined.
imagine. I can imagine. Y'all making. I heard y'all making Pete a superstar over there, man.
Yeah, old Grumpy Pete. So let me go ahead and start this.
At the Miami Dolphins practice facility, as we got the chance to see exactly what we could have in store coming up in 2024. New additions and new draft picks made their way to the Miami Dolphins, and one of those additions is Odell Beckham Jr. Although he did not make his way to the training facility today, Mike McDaniel says that he's hoping he will really help out the offense.
I could see there's a passion for football still at the forefront of his mind, and he saw the fit. So we're happy to make our team better and afford his skill set.
And with the new year comes a new schedule, one that has 5 primetime games on it.
We've found a way to develop our team, both years, and I'm firmly expecting that same thing again this year. When I saw the schedule, I was pretty excited.
But for these players, it feels good to get back to work.
I think it's awesome. I think this is going to be the foundation for what we're doing in the season. It's just great to be out there with the guys, being able to compete, getting some live reps.
Nah, it's awesome. I'm just ready to get the pads on and really show, what I can do.
But several big-time names were not on the field. That includes Tua. Mike McDaniel said he's at some practices and others he's not.
As long as we're communicating and we're on our P's and Q's and what we need to get accomplished, then we have a fighting chance. And it's been a good exercise in our relationship this offseason.
After speaking with Mike McDaniel, questions did surface about whether or not this could have something to do with his new contract that they're expecting, since he is now on his last year of his rookie contract. Mike McDaniel says, quote, "That's a question you'll have to ask him yourselves." But of course, he did tell us that the reason he wasn't here today was because, in a sense, a new team here at the Miami Dolphins practice facility.
Okay, we're going to stop it right there so we don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
So it's just a little tidbit there to, as we talked about last night, as long as he's there a couple of practices on OTAs, I'm fine with that. But if he was to miss the whole thing, that to me can separate the team. Good morning, Ethan. If you have time, join us.
Hey, come on, Ethan, for a little bit.
Morning, Jamie Reichart. How you doing, Jamie? I want to thank everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and the Huddle Sports Network for having us. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate each and every one of y'all. Without you, without Shake Money and their podcast, we wouldn't even be here today.
Absolutely, that is a fact.
So, it's going to be an interesting off season. I can't wait till training camp starts, which they have not put out the official schedule, but it's usually like the last week or two of July when it's open to the public. And I'll be there the whole first week. I'll be taking notes and everything for the show. So, and maybe even doing, a show there if they have it on Sunday mornings again.
Right.
So, Shake, you have anything to add on what's going on? Ethan, you can't wait to be back on the show with us this coming week. Well, you can join us right now if you want.
Exactly.
As far as the training camp, Tua not being there, well, at the end of the day, I said it before, I think it was important for him to be at the previous 2 training camps only because it was a new offense. But this is his 3rd year on the offense. His main targets, he's already got chemistry with. So at the end of the day, I think he's well established himself. He's not going to be the first vet to miss OTAs because he has his new coach and everything like that. So
yeah,
I think people are just make the people that don't believe in him are it's kind of like that mother-in-law
Yes.
that deal that
They're making more out of it than what's necessary.
exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna Jamie. Do you think the team makes Tua play on the 5th like Lamar, or no chance at all? After listening to a thing on YouTube from one of the shows, regular shows, and going over my thoughts in my mind, I would like them to make him play on the 5th year, but because Miami's been without a franchise quarterback of any sort for decades, I think they're going to go ahead and give him the bag. Winners, Shake, you want to answer on that, or?
I mean, the way I look at it is I think they're going to get a deal done. I really do. I just think it comes down to terminology and really comes down to I really believe it's going to come down to terminology, conditions, and upfront money. That's what it's really going to come down to. The main one that I named last, upfront money, guaranteed money of the contract. That's what it's going to really come down to. At the end of the day, the Miami Dolphins in this draft went and got depth. And they got depth in a lot of different positions. We've been crying about that for a minute. And last year was a prime example in the playoffs and even before the playoffs when we started getting the injuries that we were lacking depth in a lot of positions. Now we have depth, and it depends on how we use it. And the key thing is, if we give Tua this contract, we got to also look at the possibility of losing a lot of players. Holland is one of them. Phillips can be a person also in the future. Waddle could be a person, you know. So with that being said, it's going to be a lot of attention to Tua's contract because it will determine the future of this franchise moving forward.
Yeah. And our brother Ethan cannot make the show because he is on the beach right now.
Oh man, listen, Wi-Fi works everything, Ethan. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. The satellites bounce off, man. Don't even try to hear that.
Such a hard life for such a young man.
Enjoy yourself, Ethan. I'm just messing with you, brother.
Yep. That was going to be my next point. Do we trade Holland like we should have traded X after the 10 and 8 pick seasons?
I don't think you trade Holland at all. Holland actually fits. I think he will fit in his defense. that actually is being schemed up now. And you need players like Holland in this defense coming up. So I don't think you trade Holland. I don't think so at all. But you know that he's going to be playing for the bag, and he's going to want the bag. Somebody's not going to get the bag. So somebody's going to be the odd man out. It's going to be Holland, Waddle, Phillips. You know, it's somebody's going to be the odd man out, definitely. And we have to just wait and see who that's going to be. But right now, you got to think we're only a couple of days away from the $19 million that we're supposed to be getting from X's contract. And I got a funny feeling that the Miami Dolphins are not done yet, and I think they're going to still go after somebody else. I'm not. I really have that funny feeling.
Well, it was funny. I don't know if you saw the post where X says, "Hey, man, I need my number back."
I've seen it.
And then he's saying, I'm just kidding, but there's still a possibility for the right money, X could be back.
I'll be honest with you. I think X does come back. I really do, because I don't think the money that he's looking for across the league, and he knows he's older. He was the oldest player on the team last year, if I'm correct. Yeah. So I think he understands that if he does come back, he understands what his role is going to be. We only have Poyer. We only have Poyer for 1 year. We only have certain players for like 1 or 2 years.
Well, so, yeah, we signed a lot of players to one year contracts, which I like, right? Because you can always extend them.
True, but at what cost?
Well, it depends on how well they play. There's ways around everything.
That's true. Shout out to Tampa Dolphin Rodney. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, I'll be sitting next to him at that game in the Buck Stadium.
Definitely.
The thing about Holland too is I think I think he's gonna be gone next year. You know, like Christian Wilkins, but that's neither here nor there. Um, uh, but yeah, Xavier Howard, I think he might. I won't be surprised if he goes to a team like Kansas City or Houston for a good deal.
Oh, well, Houston. Scary part about it is, I wouldn't be surprised. Houston might be the destination, and if that's the destination, Houston's already going to be a problem. I think we all agreed that Houston is definitely a team that can really sit there and make some noise in the league next year. It's not going to be your same old Houston, Texas team that you blow off about 30 or 20 points. This is a Houston team that is proven and does have a playoff win. Got a playoff win before too, at my ad. So with that being said, don't sleep on this team. Don't sleep on this team at all, because they're probably saying nobody's talking about us. Trust me, I think if they make the noise that I think they're going to make, when we go against Houston, it might be a problem in NRG Stadium later on this upcoming season.
Well, Lucas, Casey, thank you for joining us, brother. If the Dolphins know who they aren't going to sign, in parentheses, Waddle, Holland, Phillips. Waddle and Phillips, I think they definitely will be signing. Then trade the person who you don't plan to sign for something. Let's not keep letting the guys that are worth something walk. Well, I don't see Waddle or Phillips walking. And Holland, he had all three of those guys had a rough year last year with injuries and everything. I like them all. I don't see any of those. I think Phillips is going to come back stronger and better this year than he was in the previous years. And I could definitely see him getting depending on Coach Weaver's scheme and all, I can definitely see him getting mid to high range sacks this year.
Right.
High double digits sacks.
I want to thank Lucas Casey for that point, and definitely shout out Cap for Life. Good morning, brother. Peace, love, thumbs up to you. Lucas Casey, that's a really good point. And I want to add on to what you were saying. I don't think my whole thing is it really comes down to what they can get for these players. I don't think they want to legitimately let them walk, but they want to make sure they can get the right deal back. If they're putting something out there on the table where we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. We don't know what goes on in those offices and those phones. So we don't know what Greer and those guys are doing in the front office, maybe trying to make a deal that makes sense. So at the end of the day, they might be trying to make a deal behind the scenes that we don't know anything about. They might be trying to deal Holland, or they might try to deal Waddle, or they might try to deal somebody. We don't know. But you got to understand, on the other aspect, you got to make sure you get the right deal that's going to be beneficial to the team. And if you have teams that are not going to bite at what you want, then you just don't let certain players go. So I actually like the point that you brought up. That's a really good point that you brought up, Lucas Casey. Thank you.
Yeah, if we even had, I don't think we could figure anything out, even if we had half the information in the main office, because we don't know what those guys are thinking, what they're looking at, or anything. We don't see everything. And even in the open practices that we go to as fans, we see what they want us to see.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be things, and I'm sorry, Shake, I'll let you talk in a second. It's going to be things that the general public, you think you might know, but they're only going to allow the news out that they want us to know. And that's just what it is, period, point blank. Shake, you want to add on?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, look, at the end of the day, with Chris Greer, we've been given a big sample size. He's been GM since 16, full control since 19. And in those years, when everybody, the one thing about teams is every GM has 32 different philosophies, and the GM Chris Greer has a method of team building, and as we see, he got rid of all-pro safety and Mika Fitzpatrick. There's positions that I think he covets more than others, like edge and cornerbacks. I think, and as far as defense goes, he covets that the most. And on offense, wide receivers and quarterback. Look at the positions he gave the bag to. Look what positions he let walk. And I think when it comes to team building, I don't think safety and defensive tackle were on his priority to-do list.
Yeah, I agree with you. When you look at the history, you're 100% spot on there, Shake.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, we're at the half an hour mark. We'll be on for about a good 25 minutes.
Yeah.
If you want to join us, please join us.
Real quick, our main sponsor, WCFL Helping Hands Incorporated. We do a lot of charity work. That's all we really do is charity work. We have some raffles. Good morning, Joe Riss. How you doing, my brother? June 22nd here in Hernando County, Florida, Brooksville, Florida, at the Humane Society of Nature Coast. We will be serving food there for an open house they are having. Come by and see us. Come by and help us. Come by and get a cat, a dog, a kitten, a puppy, whatever they may have. Everyone needs a good pet in their life, because you can talk to your pets and don't get any slack back from them, except for a barking dog once in a while. Other than that, there's a lot going on. I really want to see what Coach Weaver does with this defense, because if he brings us a Baltimore-style defense, and we have that Baltimore-style defense with the guys that we have, the guys that we picked up, and we can keep things going for the most part injury-free. I mean, there's never an injury-free year, but last year we got riddled with injuries. It's hard to come back when you half your team is out with injuries.
Right.
Like last year, we're picking up guys that were literally on the couches the week before a game.
You ain't never lied on that.
So, and they picked up the right ones because those guys did come in and play some ball.
That's why I said earlier, the depth that we picked up in a lot of different positions was very important in our draft this year. And even undrafted free agents also, that was very important. That's why this camp, I think this is going to be you guys are going to be able to get a chance to go to camp. Unfortunately, I might not be able to make it this year, but you guys get to see all those guys go at it. And you guys will keep an eye out on gentlemen that may be on the practice squad or go to other franchises. We just don't know. We have to see what the future holds. But I think that with this, especially with the defense, and like you said, Papa Paul, I fully agree with everything you just said. The excitement on what this defense is going to look like, because now I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be honest with all Dolphin fans. This Coach Weaver has big shoes to fill. Some people didn't like Fangio, but Fangio gave us exactly what me and Shake and you were talking about even before the season started last season. He gave us a top 5 defense. Might have not have been the style of defense that we liked. We might have liked some of the matchups that were put on, but he gave us a top 5 defense in 1 year. So Coach Weaver has a lot of shoes to fill to sit there and have this defense be another at top 5. So we have to see, because that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Joe Rist, yes. West Coast, Florida, WCFL, Dolphins Fan Club, is in Brooksville. That's our main home. The off-season party I have is at my house. Our watch parties, we're trying to make a decision on where we're going to have them this year. Last year, we started off in Glory Days, and they screwed us when it came to the Germany game. So we went over to Beef O'Brady's. Right now, I have a poll on WCFL Facebook page to see if we can figure out where we're going to have the watch parties this year. Tampa Bay, Rodney, I'd like to see the razzle-dazzle defense we had under Flores return. I just want to see a top 5 defense, really. I don't care if it's razzle-dazzle. I don't care if it's blitzing. I don't care if it's balls to the wall, kill them defense. I just want to see a top 5 defense.
To me, I'll be honest with you. I want a defense that's going to give us the top interceptions in the league. And that's the type of defense. I want a pressure defense, but I want the defense to be able to pick the ball up. I need at least, and I might be exaggerating a little bit, but by week 6, week 7, by week 7, I want us to have at least 10 interceptions. Like, that's the type of defense that I want. I want our defense to be ball hungry, meaning that once you pass that ball, you're going to have to run the rock. You're going to have to run a rock against us. I want our defense to be like that, where you have to run the ball. And I want us to be that physical where even when you run the ball against us, you might get a 2 or 3, but it's going to be a physical 2 to 3. So I want us to sit there and have a type of defense where, yeah, we go after the quarterback. Don't get me wrong. That's the key. But I want us to, that quarterback has to sit there and make a misjudgment. And if it's up there, we have a lot of guys in that backfield with a beautiful IQ of picking that ball off, like Ramsey, and hopefully we get to see Cam Smith this year, and we get to see Poyer, and we get to see Kohu. It's a lot of different guys.
Well, I mean, look at the 99-yard pickoff return from Holland last year.
Absolutely, but here's the thing: I want to see a little bit, and I mean this. I want to see a little bit more. Everyone doesn't have to be returned to the house, but I want us to be hungry. I want us to be that hungry. The schemes are to the point where it confuses the quarterback, where he's throwing the ball, he thinks something open. Oh, that really wasn't open. I want us to have that type of defense. I want us to see, and I always said this. I've said this on Shake's show. I've said this on this show. Defense wins championships. Yes, offense puts points on the boards, but defense put points on the boards as well. So I want us to have that type of defense where even if the offense have an off day, the defense can come in and the defense can take over and win the game for us. So that's the type of defense that we're going to have. That's why I said that I think we'll see what this defense is capable of by at least week 4 or week 5.
And I like it. Yes, I can agree with you on that. We every team wants it, the ball hawks. I want not a ball hawk. I want a team of ball hawks, really. But you got to make sure if you're not getting the ball, if you're not making that interception, that you're making the tackle.
And one thing I want to point out too is the fact. Look, you had 2 cornerbacks. You had Xavier Howard, and then you had
Ramsey.
Byron Jones. I'm talking. The reason I'm bringing him up is because everybody wasn't a big fan of Byron Jones. Oh, he didn't get as many interceptions as Xavier Howard. But here's the thing: if it's 3rd down and he doesn't let the receiver catch the ball, and now they got a punt, to me that's as good as a turnover. But it's not. It's not put on the stat sheet. I'd rather have, I remember, I'm going to go old school with you guys, but I remember, what's his name? Terrell Buckley. Buckley was a turnover machine, but at the end of the day, there was games that on critical downs, he would get burnt like toast.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd rather have a cornerback that's consistently not allowing catches than a guy who can make those fancy game day interceptions. That's just me, though.
No, I agree nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
I agree with that, Shake. I really do. You made very great points, and I definitely agree with everything you said. And to add on to that, I'm looking forward to seeing what Nick Neham's going to bring to this defense, how they're going to use him.
With him, not mean to cut you off, but with Nick, last I heard, they're looking at putting him at safety. And I think that he's played safety in college. I think he played a whole season of safety in college, if I remember correctly. And I think it's going to be one of the best fits for Nick Needham this year if they play him at safety.
Well, we're going to see, because, that's like the last line of defense. So, I tell a lot of people with that safety position, you got to really be – that safety position is different, especially when you're going against – our first test right out the gate is Jacksonville. And I don't care what anybody says, Jacksonville is sneaky good. And you can't sleep on them right at all. That is not a give me. That is not a give me at all. That defense is nasty over there.
Yeah. If you remember when we had Shannon Needham, Nick Needham's mom, on, she talked about how he said he was going to play NFL football and he put his mind to it and he worked hard all his life, and that he was bullied in school and other things.
Right.
You wouldn't look at the man and say he was ever bullied in school. But he was, and unfortunate, that's what life brings kids these days and stuff. And I say kid because I'm more than old enough to be his father.
Mm-hmm.
But he plays because he loves to play, and he made himself better by doing everything he possibly could do to be better.
Right.
And what's crazy is you got that reminds me of Mike Tyson when he said when he was a little kid he used to get bullied. I'm like, well, they made a big mistake there. Now they turned him into like a monkey.
Listen, the bully that sat there and twisted off that pitcher's head made the worst mistake of his life, and that's where I think that's where the race really started, right there. As a 12-year-old kid, and that happens to you, and you knocked out someone that's way older. Trust and believe that opened up something that he didn't even know he had. And, the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? So.
And real quick, for all those who are watching, all you out there on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Huddle Network Sports Work, this Wednesday night, we won't be on the Huddle Sports Network. It's not at one of our regular time slots, but our recording will get put on this Wednesday night at 8:45 on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our special guest Wednesday night will be Jim Crash Jensen. So if y'all want to join us to watch that, that's going to be a very interesting show.
Okay, yeah, that's going to be really fun. Jake, you got anything coming on up this week?
Yeah. This Thursday, on Tuesday, keep your fingers crossed. I might get Estefan. You know what Estefan is, right?
Yes, sir. I know Estefan. Definitely shout out to Estefan.
Estefan, and then next Thursday, I am getting this Thursday coming up. Allie Dolfreaky.
I'm watching. I gotta watch this. Shout out to Dolfreaky, aka Mrs. Goodman. She is definitely a bright, shining light in the Miami Dolphins community and a community of her own. That woman is like no other.
No, she is true to heart. She is a mom of all moms. She is a supporter of all support. She gives all to everything she does. And she's a mom of two. She's a pharmacist. She's 2022 fan of the year. She supports Miami Dolphins like there's no tomorrow. And where she finds time for half of the stuff she does, I don't know, but she is the best at everything she does.
Definitely. And shout out to Jared, her Dolfreaky Security, aka her husband. Shout out to her beautiful family. She's a Penn graduate. She's right from about an hour and a half away from me, right out here in the area, the Lehigh area. I'm from Philly. I'm a diehard fan from Philly. And that woman right now, I tell her that she's family, period, point blank. So I'm looking forward to that, Shake. I will definitely, you got to send me the link for that one too. You definitely got to send me the link for that, because I'll definitely like to join you for that one. Definitely.
No doubt. Yeah, this is gonna be a second appearance. We're gonna talk about the party that's coming up in June.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
I
We're neighbors.
unfortunately, yeah, you're neighbors, but unfortunately, I have to miss the party this June because I have puppies, and we're just not comfortable leaving them a full day home alone. Just because at 4 weeks old, they'll be getting into everything.
Mhm.
So even though they'll be penned up, in an area, I would not be comfortable leaving them home alone with just mama and stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And trust me, I got 3 cats, and my one Lana. Every time she jumps on the cat ball and the food is empty, she looks at me and starts yelling at me.
Yeah, if every night our cats have dry cat food they can eat anytime, but every night my wife gives them a can of cat food. And if she goes to bed without giving them a can of cat food, our oldest one, Angel, will come up literally and sit on her head until she gets up and gives them a can of cat food. So yeah, animals. People who say animals don't understand or don't have personalities and stuff. Every animal's different, and trust me, they understand English better than some people I know.
I agree. I agree. I told people, my sister and my brother-in-law, they had a family of 8 pit bulls, the mother, the father, and 6. And I was watching them when they were about 6 months to a year old, each and every one of them. And they, it was the funniest thing. And I had a normal conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna tell you, it might sound crazy, but I had a normal conversation with these dogs, and they fully understood where I was coming from, and we didn't play no games, and we had a good old time. Because you got to sit there and say, listen, at the end of the day, man, like Papa Paul says, these animals, they got more common sense than some of us humans, and that's the truth.
Yep. We have a little less than 15. We got about 13 minutes left, or less than 13 minutes left, actually. So if there's any questions out there, please feel free to ask. We hope everyone's having a great weekend. We hope everyone's staying safe. Don't drink and drive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if do the smart thing.
Yep. And if you got time during the day, check out our brother at the Fins Tailgate, Shake Money, Call Our Commentary, El Capitan, Lewis, Ali the Persian, PEM, CB83. I mean, check out all the Miami Dolphin and true Miami Dolphin content out there. You got creators, Miss Fins, Fins 75, Doubly Do Wrong, TD Fins Talk, Reason, all my brothers out there over there at DolphinsTalk.com, Stephen D, Mike Olivia, Jason Shardy, to the young ladies out there, Miss Marino, and shout out to DolFans 72. Shout out to all of them. Shout out, like I said, my sister's out there, Dolph Freaky. She has a podcast also.
Sports Babe 305.
Definitely shout out to Ashley, Natalia, and Sports Babe 305. Shout out to everybody, man. Larry K. Shout out to Larry K and the crew. Lucci, Crypto. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But definitely, if you got time throughout the day, ladies and gentlemen, check out Miami Dolphin content creators. And even, shout out to Kyle Krabs. Can't forget Kyle Krabs. Shout out to Miami Sports Music, aka Solo D and the crew. Shout out to all the Miami Dolphin fans, crew, Papa Paul, Paris Love, Papa Pump. I mean, we can go down the line. Shout out to Dolphin Nation 305, my whole crew over there. I love each and every single one of you. That's Mr. Polk, Caitlin Goombar, Fashad, the fantastic Usher. You will see him at every game. You've probably met him and seen him, and you probably didn't know who he was. That man is at not just at Miami Dolphin games, but tennis matches, F1 races, the whole 9 concerts and that. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for your Miami Dolphin content creators, and give it up. We are all as one. We support one another. We will agree to disagree, but hey, look, at the end of the day, like Papa Paul just put up, we are family. So with that being said, I think I said a lot.
No, there's tons of people we can appreciate, and a lot of them are like us in the sense of they don't have a problem having other fans from other teams on their show to talk and give their points of views on their side of things or the game that just happened, stuff like that. Remember now, guys, on Huddle Sports Network, we will be on Huddle Sports Network on Saturday nights, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday morning, 9 to 10 Eastern Time, and Monday nights or afternoons, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on all the other channels also, we're at the same time. And then all the other channels, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. On Wednesday night, we start at 8:45 p.m. and we've been as late as 11 o'clock. You know, it all depends. A lot of times it's between 10 and 10:30. But if the conversation's interesting and people are up to staying up, we stay up sometimes.
Yeah, we sacrifice sleep, man. I usually got to be at work at 6 a.m. the next day, and I'm up at 4 o'clock that Thursday morning. So I definitely sacrifice sleep being on the podcast, but it's definitely well worth it for the people. And we do this because it's fun. It's not, for me personally, this is not work, ladies and gentlemen.
No, this is not work. We don't get paid for anything. This is fun for us. We do it because several reasons. We do it because we love the Miami Dolphins.
Right.
We do it because we love each other.
Absolutely.
We are family. We accept fans of other teams into our tailgating area as family.
That's true.
You know, we may not like their team, but it doesn't mean we can't be family. You know, there's many houses divided out there.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll give an example. When I live here in Philadelphia, and I'm a diehard Dolphin fan, and when we played against the Philadelphia Eagles this past Sunday night this year, the tailgate, it was fun. I mean, we jabbed back and forth, but it was a vibe. And when I mean by a vibe, what I mean is it was love. It was fun. Everybody had jokes. I had my Ricky Williams jersey on, and I actually had Eagle fans like, man, I can't boo Ricky. Ricky is cool. And I mean, I was laughing, and we had a great time. To all the people that we all interacted with, it was all love. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. And this is a funny story. I was walking over to the stadium. Shout out to Cameron and his lovely wife. Cameron Scott is a major guy in the Miami Dolphins community. If you ever get a chance to get by his tailgate, it's money worth spent on getting some of his grub. So definitely shout out to Cameron Scott and East 32 and East 12. I was walking over this, where's he?
And what's East 32? They represent as East 32, but it's right underneath the East 22 sign now. They changed the signs.
Okay, so since they changed the signs, it's East 22. But I'm walking over with his wife and him over to the Eagles stadium, to Lincoln Financial Field, and I seen some drunk fans, and the guy looked like he was about to pass over. And he was an Eagles fan. I said, no, brother, no, I'm going to walk with you. And his friends were cracking the fuck up. I said, you'll never believe a sober black dude helping a drunk white dude in an Eagles jersey over to the stadium past the police. And they were cracking up, but it was fun. It was all in fun. Everybody, it was never no fights, nothing crazy. And knowing that we did lose the game, which I was not happy about, but I had a blast. And, we talked our trash, but at the end of the day, nobody wanted to conflict any further than that or whatever. And everybody was safe. And it was good to sit there and be able to do that as football fans. So, yes.
Well, it's all about having fun. And that's what we do in Miami. And we try to team up with groups from other teams when we're doing an invasion, as we say, that are having fun and are a family like we are.
Right. So we got about 6 minutes left.
If you're ever down to a Miami game for your team, come by East 12, East 22, meet everybody. You'll meet all of us and then some.
Right.
You'll usually in East 12, you'll find all the fan of the years around there.
Absolutely.
Especially at fan club weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the fan of the years are local, except for Mark Angelo, who's the boss. He's coolest guy you'll ever meet. He lives out in California. And California has a couple of huge Miami Dolphin fan clubs out there. It's North Cal and Southern Cal, right?
Yes. Shout out to Jason also. Shout out to Jason out there. If I'm correct, Jason Miller, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Shout out to Jason Miller and shout out to all the different Miami Dolphin crews out in California, out in the Pacific Northwest. They're actually doing something out in the Pacific Northwest for the Seattle.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to make that, but I know that's going to be a fun time. That's going to definitely be a fun time out there.
And for those of you that are Dolphins fans, you can call yourself diehard, but to me, the true diehard fans are the people over in the UK and the Germany that come to home games. And they'll come to more than one home game a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And they even, when they can, they come down to DCC, Dolphins Challenge Cancer, which is the end of February. And those are diehard fans. I mean, I don't even consider myself, I consider myself in a diehard as I've been here for 50 years plus, but those guys love the Miami Dolphins. They have rooms just like we do over here in the U.S. in our man caves and stuff, but they travel farther than most other people.
Well, then again, man, if you ever see a soccer fan, those guys are really crazy about their teams.
Oh yeah, yes. They are totally crazy. Soccer is the leading watched sport in the world.
Yes.
It's not even close either.
No, it's not. It's not even close.
So we got about 3 minutes left. Anything you got to say, gentlemen?
Shake?
No. I appreciate you guys supporting me as always, and I'm always going to reciprocate the same. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate
you guys are
brother.
awesome, and it's been a pleasure to actually meet you guys and actually call you guys my friends now. You know?
Absolutely.
You're family, Shake. You're definitely family, brother.
Shake, have a good day, brother. Appreciate you coming on, man.
You have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Peace, love, and fins up, brother.
Fins up, Shake.
Dolphin winners.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, like always, thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for making time with us this morning. Please enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. And as we also remember the men and women that actually sacrificed their lives and paid the ultimate sacrifice still to this day, past, present, and future, please take a moment in time and think about them. If you see somebody, at least somebody that's definitely served our country, please thank them for their service, for putting their lives on the line for us every single day, which I have personally have had family members from World War I to the present in military. So with that, to the men and women that continually do so, past, present, and has paid the ultimate sacrifice for myself and Papa Paul and for all of us here, thank you. I appreciate you. And thank you for your service.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you for your service. And if you know people that have lost loved ones in the wars or anything, be sure to thank them. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts. Other than that, y'all have a wonderful day. Peace, love, and fins up, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Good night. Good afternoon. Have a good day. It's not good night.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.